Hey guys, what's going on? Matt here. Um, I'm. I feel like I'm definitely being led to share my trials and tribulations that I've gone through in my life. I feel that the tribulation is upon us, so I feel if I don't want to make this video about me because it's not about me, but I feel that if I share my testimony of suffering, um, that it might help other Christians when we start to be go through tribulation. So I'm gonna ask Jesus to send the Holy Spirit and the will of the Father to help me get this out. This is very personal, and I'm just I have to tell it. So I was born October 7th, 1978. I'm 41 years old. Um, I was born incredibly sick. I had the hospital gave me staph infection because they were trying to treat I had what's it called? It's where you turn yellow. Jaundice. I was jaundice. They put me under a light. Then they gave me staph infection. I was born in the worst snowstorm ever in Ohio, and I had asthma. So my poor father was just had to rush me to the hospital so many times. It's a miracle I survived. Um, and I was my early childhood was horrid, was terrible. Um, I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness, and I'm not saying anything bad about Jehovah's Witnesses because I know there's people that are Jehovah's Witnesses that watch this video. So please try to understand. I'm just telling my story. I'm not saying anything bad about you or your religion. But I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. Um, my family was actually stalked by an elder. Um, there was a terrible abuse. I was sexually abused. Um, my parents, they fought a lot. So there was a lot of abuse at home. Um, my mother was had so many suicide attempts when I was a young kid. I came home and she had slit her wrists and like tried to kill herself because she was you know she was sick. We were being attacked by the devil. You know, so my dad was diabetic and he was just my parents' health was attacked. Even my beautiful sister, she went through her suicidal times and depression. So that was all before the age of 12. Um, I was constantly teased and mocked in school for being of a different faith. Never had a Christmas or a birthday. Um, and by the time I was, in my mid-teens, 17, 18 years old, I started experimenting with drugs. Um, you know, and I've had an on and off problem with drugs my entire life. Um, when I was 21, I was in a horrible accident, almost lost the use of my hand. I had I've had so many terrible things, like so many near-death experiences. Um, I've lost my entire family. My father died in a car accident. Then shortly after that, my mother and girlfriend, on and off 18 years, both died in the same week. Um, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety that was so severe. I was in and out of hospitals, probably no joke, 15 to 20 times before I was 25 years old. The abuse I went through in my life was so terrible. Um, I had members of my family who just hated me. Just hated me. Um, you know, when I was going to view my mother's dead body, and my girlfriend was in the hospice dying of cancer. I had two family members tell me I had to move out of my grandmother's house because at that time I was taking care of my grandmother. Um, you know, I've had so many trials and tribulations. I broke my back. I had this pain in my side that I just couldn't explain. I had it for years and years and years. Um, they probably put me on 30 different medications in my life to help with my mind and depression, and none of it worked. None of it. Um, you know, when you're abused severely as a child, um, Pills don't help that. Pills don't help that at all. Um, when I was 33 years old, I was I was I had this horrible infection that put me on chemical life support. I was dead, but by the grace of God, I was able to come back. Um, I'm trying to think of, there's so many horrible, horrible things that I've gone through. And this is my point. Oh, financial. I have a good job, but I've always had problems with money. I'm a union drywall finisher. I make good money, but it's like this curse is over me. I was always broke. Just can't get ahead to save my life. So what's the point of me telling all my sorrows and woes? Well, what is the point? Well, my point is that even though I've gone through an abnormal amount of horrible, horrible, horrible things, I refuse to ever get mad at God. I'll never get mad at Jesus. I'll never get mad at the Father. Um, the way I view it is he went through so much suffering when they killed him and rejected him. Um, he went through a lot, so I can go through a lot. Um, they say Jesus was a man of sorrows, and I know how he feels. I feel like I have so many uncanny similarities with Jesus. I can't explain it. I'm just so connected to him. It's weird. Of course, I'm imperfect, so I'm not comparing myself in that way to Jesus. But I mean, from being homeless, from being rejected to family, from having so much physical pain. I mean, I even have this scar on my wrist, this terrible giant scar. And I know there's a debate on where they put the spikes in Jesus' hand, but a lot of people say it was his upper wrist because there's a nerve right there. And when the stakes would go through the nerve, it would shoot pain throughout your body. Um, like I said, I had these pains in my side and my back. Another thing I forgot to say was I had a traumatic head injury when I was like 6 or 7 years old. Again, my family, they're kind of responsible for it. It's like, I don't know if you can see it. It's still sore to this day. And that literally fractured my skull and like damaged my brain when I was just like a little kid. Um, you know, like I said, but getting back to my birth, they gave me that shot that gave me staph infection. They put it in my heel. And, I've just been fighting from the day I was born. And I'm just trying to say that I went through all this stuff and I've lived. So God will have your back. No matter what tribulation you're going to go through, remember these words I'm saying to you. I went through horrible things. We can make it through. We will make it through, no matter what happens. I know what it's like to be homeless and hungry, and just, it's scary, but there's nothing more scary than be separating from God. We don't want to be separated from him, so we want to just always honor him and realize through him we can endure anything. I'm living proof. Through Jesus Christ, you can endure anything. So, I could keep on going on with my tales of woes and sorrow, but I think you guys get the point. Um, I love you so much. Christ is King. He's coming back soon. He's going to take care of us. I love you guys.